Back on the Darlington layout for the Net Positive Pool Services Cup Series feature. And it was Jimmy Allen starting this one on the SRI pole with an 11.943. But before the field could even get a rhythm, chaos showed up like an uninvited X. Dean Weirick got into Richard Reeves, who then shoved Curtis Markham around at the start. Somehow, everyone kept it pointed the right direction, and we stayed green.
And up front, it was Jimmy Allen doing what Jimmy Allen does best. Full throttle and zero apologies. Meanwhile, the battle for second looked like a bad Tinder date. 3 wide, no one knowing who's supposed to be on top. Andrew Hale, Austin Allen, and Jeremy Murphy all throwing it in there like they were late for rent.
Yeah, Jimmy's out there on rails, while behind him it's a pinball machine. Austin Allen loses a chain after some contact, and that brings out the yellow. Just one of those nights. Everything that can rattle loose will.
Restart, Jimmy Allen high, Murphy low, and Thomas Markham trying to find room where there isn't any. They fire off, and Allen once again owns the top like he's got stock in it. But trouble in 3 and 4. Richard Reeves spins and collects a small nation of carts behind him.
The replay shows Reeves just got too hot, tags Hidalgo, and sets off a Rube Goldberg crash that probably cost about 2 mortgage payments worth of parts.
Once again back to green. Allen up high, Murphy down low, and Thomas Markham going full send for second. The top groove is king on this layout. If you're not up there, you're just sightseeing. Showalter, meanwhile, is slicing through the field from the back after being light at the scales earlier. You can't keep him buried for long.
Yeah, he's running like a man trying to catch the ice cream truck. Every lap, he's 2 more spots up the board.
And you have to talk about how strong Jimmy Allen is on this layout. It's like it was built for him. He knows every bump, every divot, every grain of rubber that's been laid down. Austin, same deal, same camp, same high line commitment. The Allens just understand this place.
But while Jimmy's doing textbook laps, the rest of the field's dealing with the cockroaches. That's what we call lap traffic here. You can wave a blue flag, a white flag, or the Ukrainian flag. They're still not moving. Thomas Markham found that out the hard way when one of those back markers ran him clear off the track, costing him 2 positions and a bit of his sanity.
That allowed Andrew Hale and Showalter to close in. And that's when things started to get spicy. Crossover moves, slide jobs, elbows out at 3 and 4. Classic DNQ racing at its finest.
Then we get another caution. Joe Hughes gets straight up run over by Dean Weirick. Full-on Monster Jam audition. Debris caution, and you could feel half the field trying to remember where their front bumpers went.
Restart. Showalter on the inside, Allen on the outside. Both drivers time it perfectly. Allen holds serve up top. The runoff turn 2 is just unbeatable. Showalter tries to work that bottom, but the momentum isn't there.
And right when it's getting good, Richard Reeves spins again in 3 and 4, but we stay green. Meanwhile, Brandon No Money Hughes starts throwing sliders like he's auditioning for a demolition derby, and somehow it's working.
With 5 to go, the caution waves again. Allen and Showalter both choose the top. Murphy gambles low for one last shot at the lead. Green flag. Allen and Showalter jump clear. Into turn 3, Showalter gives Allen a little bump to remind him he's there, and that stacks up the line behind them. Murphy, Markham, Hughes, and Hale all bounce off each other like pool balls, but everyone keeps going.
Allen gets that breathing room he needed, and that's all she wrote. He sails through the final 2 laps. High side, smooth hands, no mistakes.
Jimmy Allen takes the checkered flag, calm, collected, and completely dominant. Showalter brings it home second after a wild night of climbing back through the pack. Murphy third, Markham fourth, and Andrew Hale rounds out the top 5. Steve Post caught up with the top 3.
The Net Positive Pool Services Pro or Cup Division down here, and picking up the victory from the outside, Jimmy Allen Jr. Congratulations, great run.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Fun night. Believe it or not, I had a loss for words. I was pretty locked into that race, and I knew I had a shot at my a perfect race. And that was about as perfect as I could do it. So, Elena, what do you think, honey? Did it? Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, also, I get a lot of help out racing back in full swing. Crew chief stepped on it a couple weeks ago, but driver did good.
Driver did good tonight, and you're a perfect race. Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Jimmy Allen Jr.
Bike racing is quite a bit, you know, you second think of sticking in a bad spot, and you're like, all right, I'll just wait till the next lap before I try to pass this guy, or like you try not to wreck yourself, but sometimes you just can't wait, you just gotta go. So it's a balance, but I'll take second.
Nice shot. There we go. That's about a Showalter. And spot on that restart. Describe coming off from turn number 4, the way the seats kind of worked for you up to third.
I got lucky. That's it. They parted and I got hit and broke through it. I don't know who was behind me. On the radio, I heard 2 out, so I just threw my mind in. It was tricky tonight.
I miss tire pressure. I'm probably a pound off. I'm just found out with her. No grip off on the exit forward here. Just with her where I want to. That's my fault.
So when you have a night like that where you claim you miss it, it's got to be a little rewarding to be standing here on the podium and having a push light in the infield at Millbridge.
Yeah, I'd rather be sitting up there in victory lane. Coming off the floor, I seen the bottom of the water, and I got lucky.
Oh, no doubt about it. That was a pretty wild one, that is for sure. Andrew Hale, the racer out of China Grove, finishes third spot. There's your podium for the Net Positive Pool Services Cup Series here at Millbridge.
Well, what a wild feature that was here at Millbridge on the Darlington layout for the Net Positive Pool Services Cup Series. After all the carnage, debris, and cockroaches holding up traffic, it's Jimmy Allen taking the win. And man, he earned it.
Yeah, Jimmy didn't just win this race, he owned it. He ran that high line like it was his home mortgage. Never gave up an inch. He's just one of those guys who makes this layout look like slow motion while everyone else is out there auditioning for a bumper car league.
Second place goes to Robert Showalter, who started deep after being light in qualifying. He clawed his way through the field like a raccoon breaking into a Waffle House dumpster at 3 a.m. Just relentless, and somehow came out clean.
Andrew Hale finishes third. Another strong showing for the 44. Unfortunately for him, he failed a tire sample from last race. Thomas Markham brings it home fourth, fast, aggressive, and probably still mad about those lap traffic incidents. And rounding out the top five, Brandon Hughes, who threw more sliders than a Friday night at Twin Peaks.
Jeremy Murphy finishes sixth, and he'll probably spend the week sending hate mail to lap traffic. Alfredo Hidalgo brings it home seventh after surviving more close calls than a Vegas bachelor party. Austin Allen in eighth. His chain came off earlier, but he fought back like a guy trying to prove he didn't need Jimmy's setup sheet.
Then it's Richard Reeves in 9th, Dean Wyrick 10th, David Marin 11th, and Patrick Field 12th, who, let's be honest, probably deserves a medal for not losing it after that last pileup. Then Curtis Markham 13th, and Joe Hughes rounding out the field in 14th.
So there you have it. Jimmy Allen stands tall tonight in a field that was pure chaos from green to checkered. He's been deadly consistent this season, and that high-line dominance just keeps paying off.
Yeah, you give that guy 10 laps up top, and you might as well start engraving the trophy. He just...
Meanwhile, Showalter's probably already doing math in his head about how to beat him next week. If those two keep this up, we might need therapy sessions for the rest of the field.
The Knupp Cup Championship for the Net Positive Pool Services Cup Series is in the books. After a season of carnage, comebacks, and chaos, it's Jimmy Allen who claims the title with 540. 5 points, capping it off with a dominant win tonight.
Yeah, Jimmy's been the guy all year. The high line, the confidence, the composure. It's like watching a guy at the roulette table who just keeps hitting black every spin. He's got that I dare you to pass me kind of swagger.
And how about Robert Showalter, second in points at 510. That's 2 championships. He's come within inches of this season. The man's basically allergic to losing, but Allen just had a little extra this time around.
Jeremy Murphy ends up third with 500 points, quietly putting together one of the most consistent runs we've seen all year. He's the guy who never makes headlines until you check the results and realize, wait, he's top 3 again?
Then there's Thomas Markham and Brandon Hughes rounding out the top 5 at 444 and 440 points. Those two are like rival roommates, always next to each other on the leaderboard, always one bad restart away from throwing hands.
Curtis Markham in 6th, then Alfredo Hidalgo, Richard Reeves, and Dean Wyrick round out the rest of the core top group. All of them had flashes of brilliance, but the story this year was Jimmy Allen, period. That guy's been untouchable on this Darlington layout.
Patrick Field sneaks into 10th with 265, and hey, he's got more battle scars than anyone else in the series. You earn every point in this deal the hard way.
So there you have it. Jimmy Allen, your Knupp Cup champion, closing out a wild stretch of racing here in the DNQ world. You could throw him on any track, any surface, any kart, and he'd still find the cushion before the green even drops.
And let's be honest, the guy didn't just win, he owned the season. Between him and Showalter, that's like watching 2 professors argue over who wrote the textbook on how to win in this series.
Allen adds his name to the history books with a Knupp Cup title, and it's well-deserved. On behalf of the DNQ Racing Network, we thank you for tuning in, where the karts are quick, the tempers are shorter, and the racing's always pure chaos.